Gumayusi, two-time and reigning world champion AD carry, has been benched again for the second time this year, with his starting spot on T1 being given to rising star Smash. It's just the latest twist in a chaotic saga that's managed to unify an otherwise divided and furious fanbase around one thing: that T1 has not handled this situation, to put it lightly, as smoothly as they could have. And the worst may be yet to come. So back at the end of January, T1 fans were surprised to see the team swap out Gumayusi with their academy bot laner Smash in week 2 of the LCK Cup. Now, on a different team, with a different lineup and different fans, this might not have been such a controversial decision. Smash has been one of the most outstanding and exciting rookies we have seen in years. Some are already touting the 18-year-old as a future GOAT of the game. Watch any of his highlights from this year and you can immediately see why.
Carrier close to him as well, and Gore just dives in the engaged Jace as the Chaos Storm wreaking havoc, and Ruler is dead already. Two of them sent home, but no one dead just yet. Chovy gonna be executed by this gigantic Kaiser. King Dante, not enough against Smash. Exactly.
I think it's time for Nidalee to buy like a Moonstone.
Even gets the cat. Does he die?
Oh, what? Oh, what? What? What is that confidence?
It would make sense for a team who's got their hands on such a gem to want to get them involved with their main roster as soon as possible. Talent like this is 1 in a million. The issue is that this isn't just any old team, and the current player Smash will be replacing isn't just any old player. It's Gumayusi, who, alongside Bang, is the only AD carry to win Worlds twice. He's a player that's regularly in the conversation for the greatest AD carry of all time, a legend that's almost never put a foot wrong, and is frankly hero worshipped by his fans. And that last point is kind of where the controversy comes in here. T1 could easily have a valid, long-term, strategical justification for swapping Guma out for Smash, but without any official announcement for the change, many T1 fans felt the org had failed to communicate their reasoning, and soon the all too familiar protest billboards were lined up outside of T1's headquarters. Now, it's important to note here that the T1 fanbase is already pretty raw about how the whole Zeus saga went down at the end of last year. It was a bit of a messy departure for him from the team. We made a whole video about that, so check it out if you want to know more, but needless to say, T1 fans have kind of been through the ringer for a while now. Gumayusi acknowledged at the time that he was also initially surprised to have been benched, but saw it as an opportunity to grow. And there were signs of how serious he was about getting his spot back.
Also, what happened was Guma was criticized for not playing Ezreal. So when he was criticized, he went into solo queue and played 90 games of Ezreal straight. This is the thing with that people miss when it comes to subbing out ADs or subbing out players. If you get subbed out, you can have your own public opinion of no, he should play. But the player that gets subbed out instantly works their f***ing ass off.
By mid-February, we had Coach Becker on stream explaining to fans that they'd given the starting spot to Smash as the new LCK Cup wouldn't have an impact on T1 making Worlds, so it was a good time to experiment with the roster. He also stressed that Guma and Smash would both have a role to play in the upcoming 2025 season. T1 went on to win the remainder of their group stage games before falling in a best-of-5 to Hanwha Life in round 1 of the playoffs, resulting in a 6th place finish for T1 and them failing to qualify for the first stand international tournament. Now, to be fair, the LCK Cup format was kind of weird to say the least. Despite winning nearly all of their group games, T1 were given a lower playoff seed due to other teams in their group performing poorly. Weird. But many angry T1 fans felt this was proof that benching Guma was a big mistake and the coaching staff were to blame. Everything kicked off again on March 19th when it was announced that Gumayusi was now set to be the starting AD carry, with Smash being benched at the direct request of T1 CEO Joe Marsh. He said he had full confidence in Gumayusi and praised his loyalty to the org while acknowledging Smash's potential to develop into an exceptional player. Now, as diplomatic sounding as his statement was, some felt that Marsh had caved into pressure from T1 fans to reinstate Guma, while others were still furious that he'd been benched in the first place. In a single swoop, T1 had managed to piss everyone off, even those who disagree with each other. And that brings us to April, where T1 finished week 1 of the regular season with a win over DRX and a loss to Gen G. Not a disastrous start, and it's still very early days in the season, which is why it was such a shock when yesterday, once again, T1 decided to drop a bombshell. They announced that after reviewing scrims and holding thoughtful discussions, the coaching staff had decided that Smash would be on the starting roster while Gumayusi takes time to reset and regain form from the bench. They acknowledged that the confusion around the situation had stemmed in part from their own lack of clarity and that they will no longer pre-announce roster decisions in order to minimize misunderstandings and unintentional strategic disclosures. They finished by reaffirming that both players are integral to T1 and asked their fans to stand with them and continue to support the players. Los Ratones analyst Molecule praised the clear message from T1, noting that a strong 6-man roster like this could provide a competitive advantage in Fearless Draft. But as expected, fan reactions on Twitter were largely less positive, with some calling for the team to release Guma, who they feel is being straight up disrespected after helping them to 2 world championships but still having to fight for his spot. And bear in mind, this announcement came just before T1 were about to play their 3rd game of the season against KT, so all eyes were on that game. If they lost the first game of Smash's return to the roster, I think there wouldn't have been a fan big enough for all the shit to even hit. But fortunately for T1, they beat KT, and Smash, well, he kinda smashed.
20 minutes. Faker has to flash.
Oh. Nice stealth timing.
It's actually KT who are getting the better of this trade. Nicely done. A smash goes in.
Holy he's clean. Bro, he is clean. He is clean.
And,
that guy is clean though, like, come on.
I saw a comment on YouTube that kind of captured the emotional swings of this whole thing. When Smash does well, it seems obvious to some that he should be the one to start, but we've also heard the exact same sentiment when Guma has stepped up to the plate.
I don't know what you do if you're Gumayusi, honestly. They sub you back in, half the people are mad and they're gonna try to blame you. They don't sub you back in, half the people are again mad for not replacing. Just lose this position.
Ultimately, T1 is between a rock and a hard place here. The rock is Gumayusi, an indisputable legend of the game, a pillar of that 2-time worlds-winning ZOFGK roster, a mechanical god who may already have 1 foot in the Hall of Fame. The hard place is Smash, perhaps the most explosive rookie we have seen in years, who may very well be at the beginning of an astonishing career, whether or not he's in a T1 jersey.
If you're asking, oh, why would they bench Gumayusi? He's a 2-time world champion. He's like the most consistent player on T1. The answer is they think Smash is better. And because of just the nature of competition, you can be great and you can still be replaced by someone better. And that's what the players / coach / org, whatever you want to say it, that's what they believe. They believe that Guma is a great player. Probably. I mean, that'd be crazy if they didn't. And but they believe that Smash is better, or that he is like a prodigy.
The whole controversy has also somewhat overshadowed Faker's 1000th LCK game this week, but that may also serve as a reminder that this org is all too familiar with what can come from fostering a 1-in-a-million talent and the importance of not letting them slip through your fingers. An optimist would see having these 2 players at your disposal as only a good thing for T1, that a 6-man roster can offer strategic flexibility and adaptability to changing metas and a chance for 2 great players to push each other to fulfill their potential, almost reminiscent of the Faker Easyhoon dynamic back in the day. They might also say that T1 have just done a poor job of communicating their decision making, and the timings of their announcements have seemed, at least on the outside, to be a bit rash and reactionary, despite what may be happening behind closed doors.
One fan should be happy, man. You've got 2 crazy good AD carries.
But a pessimist, and T1's fanbase seems to contain them in abundance these days, could argue that something has got to give here, that the org cannot hold on to 2 players of this caliber indefinitely without hurting their careers and the org's chances of success in the process. These coming weeks will serve to make one of those outlooks the more realistic, and I'd be interested to hear what you all make of it.
Thanks for watching. If you want more content like this, hit the sub button and ring the notification bell. For unique bite-sized videos you won't find anywhere else, hit us up on our X, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok.